ACULCO Radio.
Tenemos a Paul, y Paul es un hombre polifacético de origen australiano quien visita los estudios de ACULCO y está aquí con nosotros y vamos a hacer las preguntas a las personas que quieran saber qué hemos dicho. Ya saben que pueden entrar a nuestra web de aculcoradio.com y también pueden ver el vídeo que estaremos mostrando. También daremos información de sus libros que ha escrito. Bueno, okay, Paul, first of all, you're a very special person. I said, a special person with many talents, with variety of techniques. Why did you done coaching? Why coaching? Why is so important?
In terms of actual coaching, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Look, I've always liked teaching and I like helping people. I've been lucky through my life to meet a couple of very influential people that have helped me through things in my life that have made me the person that I am now. And it made me realize that you have to give back. Yeah, it's a bit like the old thing about paying forward. I always believe you have to give back, and it's about being connected to the world, about humanity that makes you live longer, makes you feel better, makes you realize about who you are, and helps transform yourself as well as the rest of the people in the world around you. So for me, it's all about helping others and teaching. That's how I got into coaching.
Yeah. When I studied diplomacy, I done a master's in diplomacy. I done 6 months coaching. But there was something to do with diplomacy, something to do with politics. But I didn't understand that on this kind of life that you do is also important.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it really comes back to the fundamental three things, and then it's a very old, and people say it's a bit cliche, but it's about peace, love, and happiness. I mean, it really just comes back to those three basic things. People want to be secure in their life about who they are and what they're doing. People want to be loved, they want to be connected to others, and they want to be happy in what they do, no matter what it be. And I think we, in today's society, get too tied up with the other things that are going on about money, about power, about wanting to have wealth and be significant. And we forget about the basics of life, and it's about being happy. I mean, it's like meeting all you people here. Everyone had a smile on their face when I walked in, which is really great. You don't see that very often walking around London.
No, they said the Colombian or Latin American people, we are the happiest person in the world.
Well, that'd be that's probably true. After spending a bit of time in Brazil, they were all showing me a pretty good time, I have to admit.
This country, we get very stressed, and English people, especially English people or German people, are very stressful, very unhappy. I think it's no quality of life here. Life is very stressful, and you talk a lot about stressful that go in three parts. How that works? Because Is a loneliness? Is it people stressing, worried about, as you said, worried about the future, worried about the past, worried about the present?
Yeah, there's the key point for most people in society these days is that their lack of time. Actually, it comes interesting that the three things that I find from people, whether it be personal or business, is they have a lack of time, a lack of resources, and a lack of money. And each of those causes stress on people. And stress then is the cause of a lot of disease in people. The word disease means dis-ease, so that they're in tension all the time, which is the stress. And stress is always, as we just said, past, present, and future. So the past is about guilt, people feeling guilty about the things they should have done or didn't do. They then take that into the future, and they're worried about the outcomes of the future. They're not going to achieve what they want, whether it be getting married, whether it be getting the right job or money, and that creates anxiety. So people are always very anxious. And the third one is about the present. So if you're thinking about things in the present, you give your mind something to do, so therefore you're not stressed. So if you focus, it's like with everyone, if you are busy now, then you find you're not stressed. When you have time, you start to think about the future, that's when you get stressed. And that's really the key point that you find. So the thing is to be able to take stress away is to be able to firstly relax and then focus on what you're doing now so that you don't get the anxiousness about what's going to happen shortly.
Do you think that people in the late 20s, early 30s, they are careless with the money? They spend a lot of money, but they're keeping the economy going, floating. Without them, it wouldn't be a floating economy. But then when they get into the late 40s, 50s, And some people done quite a lot. Some people didn't do anything because they spent it all. Do you see that as the people that you might see?
Yeah, I mean, we got we got 3 sons, and they go from 28 to 33 at the moment. So we've seen the progression from, it's okay, we got plenty of time, and now before they realise it, they're becoming their parents, which is really not. They don't think that's very good, but yes, you do. I mean, I think the issue is that we're a society that requires to have things. We want to have materialistic things, and people always want to spend money on those things, and they don't understand the need to actually save money for particular outcomes. They want it now. And I think the Y generation, which is sort of where our sons are, they're starting to get into that age bracket where they're getting married, having children, and they're starting to see now that you actually have to save if you want a few things. So they're starting to change, but the X and Z generation that's coming in behind them are very much still that way. We want it now. We want to spend the money now. Forget about the future. We want to have fun right now. And that does cause problems in regards to they're not thinking about where they're going, what they're going to do, and that is where you also see a lot of stress being occurred because it's all about what's the next thing. I can't just sit and relax. I've got to be doing something.
But do you think that stress is because we are, our generation, and perhaps the youngest one, are very spoiled? The older generation couldn't be spoiled because there was wars going around, there was division, it wasn't one Europe, it wasn't one America. Today is almost a free movement around the world.
Yeah,
so could be that?
Well, I mean, you got to be careful about saying that for your children, because who spoilt the children in the first place?
Technology.
No, I mean, it's really the parents. It's us as parents that have...
So we spoil them then?
We spoil them because we didn't have it, so we want our kids to have it. That's the issue. But we need to make sure we put boundaries on things. And I know that's one of the things I find, especially in the coaching area that I do for business, is we don't put boundaries. We don't say what are the boundaries by which you can work within, and then they know where the rules stand. If you continually say to your children, this is good, this is good, this is good, but it's not, it's actually bad, they don't know where the boundaries are. So we create the circumstances under which they don't know where they're supposed to go to. So we have to enforce boundaries and set the boundaries to start off with, but it's us as the parents that are responsible for that, because a child is not born bad. A child learns bad behaviour. So it's really up to us to make sure that we set the right criteria for them to be able to do it.
But some children are luckier than the other children.
Absolutely, sure.
So some children who are not lucky, so children who wants to become footballers, professional artists or models and all those things, is because they never had anything in life. So there is almost like
they see that they know how to work for it. It's when people see the value of what is achieved, then they value those issues. As we were talking about before, from a martial artist, and we often say in martial arts, they say, a black belt, if you earned a black belt, you understand it. If you want to buy one, you can go down to the local supermarket and get one that holds your pants up, so it has that much value. Yeah. So it's really a matter of the value that you've worked to get it is what makes you appreciate what those issues are for it, and I think that's the important part.
Yeah. One subject that really interests me is Reiki.
Oh yes, Reiki. Yep.
Yes, I'm fascinated by that. Not that I practice because I know it's dangerous, but I'm fascinated by that. Talk about Reiki.
Well, Reiki energy. I'm a Reiki master teacher. Have been for probably 10 years or so now. Reiki is using what they classify as universal energy, originated from Makai Usui out of Japan around the 18th, 19th century. And he developed an understanding of healing hands, and he originally called it Chiate, which is healing hands, and it then became known as Reiki. It's really just opening up the energy pathways within the body to be able to access the inherent energy that's around you and use it from a healing perspective to put the body back into balance. So when the body's out of balance, this is when you have a problem with disease, with stress that we were talking about before. And if you can put the body back into balance or homeostasis, then that's when you get the body to start to heal itself. And it's really about getting the body to heal itself back into those perspectives.
Because this is people. I see people over 40. People who are over 40 are really trying to go into Reiki, into meditation, into something that it worries them a lot. So I think
complementary therapies, yeah.
Yeah, so it's something that's become very fashionable. I went to Colombia and I went to see all my friends. and everybody talking about Reiki, talking about meditation, yoga, and never in the life every time, because I used to love dancing. And when I used to go to Colombia, let's say, let's go dancing, let's go this. And they said, no, we're going Reiki now, we're going meditation. I said, oh, this looks like a convent here now.
Well, you can still do the dancing. That'll still increase your energy. It's pretty good. And it'll increase your breathing, so that's good as well.
No, but it's the way that people change. Is it something that are we trying attracting all the Asia is selling to us so many things that we never had in the West or in the South?
I think we're only refinding what other people knew before us. I mean, it's a bit like we have modern medicine, that we have now is calling New Age medicine, which is what's been the traditional Chinese medicine. So, New Age medicine from traditional Chinese is over 2,000 years old. So how come it's New Age when it's been around for 2,000 years and modern medicine's only been around for a couple hundred years? So I think it's more a matter of us refinding what was being known before, and science is only now is able to identify what's been practiced for hundreds or thousands of years in specific areas, especially like with energy, about the way the synaptic gaps and how the neurons through the body work with neuropeptides, which is nerve proteins through the system. So there is a mind and body connection between what we think, what we do, and how we feel, and how our immune system works through those things. So that science is catching up to all that, and I think now that people are realizing you don't need to take drugs, you don't need to pay for it, you can actually be control of these things yourself, and we have to take responsibility for ourselves first, and our health, both physical and mental health, in regards to those areas. And the more we know about it, the more that we can do it.
So you believe that, of course, if you need an operation or you need something, you have to go to the hospital, you have to see a doctor. But mentally, with energy, you can cure yourself. But it's a strategy to be able to do it. It's something that you need to know how to do it.
Yeah, I think you've covered a lot of ground in that statement. I'm a true believer that there are specific things you need to have for specific issues. If you have a medical issue, you see a medical doctor for those particular areas. If you have an issue from a mental perspective, then you need to make sure that you're seeing the right people associated with that for those particular areas. If you have a skeletal issue with your back, then a chiropractor, osteopath is good for those. If you have a soft tissue issue, then massage sometimes is good for those areas. So it depends on the circumstances. However, not usually it's one thing. What I've found is that quite often you need a combination of therapies to be able to do that, because things don't usually present themselves in singles in regards to that. So, and as we were chatting a little bit earlier, a lot of it's about how you perceive things, and your mental attitude towards things makes a huge difference in regards to those issues, in terms of those arears. Now,
what worries me a lot is the young people today are killing themselves.
Yeah.
Lots of young people. It never ever happens before, not in my country or in other countries, but we hear a lot. 20 years old or 16 years old or even 12 years old are killing themselves, hanging themselves, because, as you said, they are not mentally stable. It's something that is not applied in the schools, it's not applied from very young age. So the children, those young people don't have the opportunity to see for themselves. It's something that's not working, but it's not necessary to kill themselves.
I agree totally. It's been around for a while. We had, I think, 4 children commit suicide as teenagers when my boys were going through school, which had a pretty severe impact with a couple of our boys. And one of the reasons I teach with children is for that reason, is so that you can try and see whether you can help with stopping that process of happening. But, from my experience, what I've seen around the world, it comes down to a couple of things. Yes, I agree with the schools comment. What I think is missing in the schools is teaching of life skills. Yeah. I don't think they come out of schools with proper life skills in terms of knowing how to go about things. I mean, simple things like, how do you cook a can of food? They stick it in the microwave and without taking the food out of the can and press the button and wonder why the microwave explodes, or they put it into a hot saucepan and forget to open it and then wonder how do you get the food out of the can. So yes, life skills are basic. Problem solving is missing.
Did you go to schools? Did you write to schools? Did you write to the government to say how you can help those young people?
Have done in the past, and with businesses, what we've talked about is adopt a school. So you have an adopt the school program where businesses go to schools and try to assist by providing them with an idea of seeing what happens in reality and practical things so that you can get those skills. And the second thing that I think is missing, which is a bit of a crusade that I have a little bit, is that I think that there is a lack of faith with religion, which is a bit of a dirty word in some countries. Religion has become less important in a lot of societies, and as a result, the faith that religion gave to people has become missing. So what happens now is people don't have faith in something, and that creates the situation where they feel lost. And I think that lost feeling is where that I see with the younger people, is they don't know where to put their beliefs, their focus on things, because that religious faith is missing. Now, I'm not saying that religion is the issue, but the fact is that it played a role at some point in time, and now that that's not there, there's a gap, and that's what people are feeling is missing, and they feel disillusioned.
Perhaps it's too much freedom. Before we didn't have the freedom. We have respect for parents, and we do as we were told. Today, that freedom goes. It's no respect for the teachers, it's no respect for the police, it's no respect for the adult. Perhaps it's something that the children feel lost.
Yeah, I mean, from teaching the martial arts, what I find is that a lot of parents don't have respect for themselves, and that's the problem. They don't respect themselves, and therefore and they teach that to their kids, so their kids don't have respect for them. When we have, I have kids who've got ADHD, who've got problems with behavioural issues with the law area, and we come in and we start teaching them. We don't have problems with them in terms of respect. Yeah. We find that you put the boundaries, you tell what the boundaries are, you tell them the consequences, you enforce the consequences of those particular areas. You do everything in a positive way rather than a negative way. I mean, everything we hear about is always negative. Everyone says everything in a negative way rather than a positive way. If you say things the way you want them rather than the way you don't want them, I think you'll find that you'll get a better outcome associated with it. So I think it's an issue that every person has to have respect for themselves, and then treat everyone accordingly, and then I think we'd be in a better situation in terms of respect of our children in relation to those around them.
Going back to you wrote a book, and writing a book is you need to have the skills to write a book, you need to love what you're doing, and you wrote the book, The Art of Warrior Mindset. Tell us about the book.
The book is really a combination of the martial arts knowledge over 20, I think I've been doing it for 23 years now. So how do you apply the Eastern philosophy with the Western reality of what we live in? So it's a combination of the two things, and I suppose it fits into four basic things, and that is you need to have a purpose, what you're doing in life. That creates passion. You need to have passion, and Spanish people and people have a lot of passion.
A lot, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of passionate people. Might just be careful, my wife's here.
She's not listening. I don't think
no, she's not. She's not Spanish though, but she's passionate enough. And then that passion creates power. That's what builds power in you, and the power is your ability to achieve and do, and your awareness that you can do that. And the last one is persistence. People give up too easily, right? Life is all about a series of not achieving exactly what you want. You get a learning, you get the feedback, you make changes, and you continue. So it's about having a clear purpose that creates the passion, that builds the power within you to be able to do things, and having the persistence to continue to achieve your outcomes, and things will achieve. And the book is really about how do you look at those four criteria and utilizing the things like from martial arts we call sort of the A to F, about your attitude, about your belief, being able to concentrate, to have discipline, to have effort and have focus, to be able to do those things. A simple thing like focus, intensity of focus is more important than duration or length of focus. No one can focus on something for 10 hours. What you need to do is to be focused for a very short duration to get your maximum performance out of what you want to do. So, they're the sorts of things from martial arts when you do. It's always in short, sharp bursts in terms of what the issue. So it's about bringing those two things together, the Eastern philosophy and what happens in practical and the Western, and how do you apply that in today's situation. That's what it's about.
What is the philosophy about life, the freedom, happiness?
Well,
Too many questions at the same time.
I think that that may take another century to answer. No, the basis is, as I said, to me, the real key issue is peace, love, and happiness. You need to be able to do that. The simple thing is, for example, I ask a lot of people, how do you be happy? So, Gloria, how do you be happy?
I'm not happy with anything.
Yeah, exactly. You decide to be.
Yes.
So, right. So happiness is an issue of your mental state. It's a matter about you making a decision as to whether you're going to be happy or not. Any situation can happen to you, but how you respond to it is really up to you. And it's really a matter about your perception, about how you perceive that. And that's what stress is about, as we talked about earlier. There's a circumstance or a situation will occur. You can either decide that it's going to affect you or you decide it's not. And that's really about your perception about those issues. So being happy is about deciding to be happy. Sure, things can happen around you for particular points in times, but in the end, it's really up to you to decide where you want to go and what you want to do.
I think when you don't have any, not much, but of course, if you haven't got anything, then it's a different thing. So it's being in between. But
Yeah.
how can you be in between?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. It's important for you to know what you want. That's why I said purpose. You need to be important about what you want, what you want to achieve in regards to your life and what you want to get as an outcome out of that. And then that's what's going to make you happy in terms of issues. Money doesn't make you happy. It makes life easier, but it doesn't make you happy. It's family. I mean, family that's around you. Now, family doesn't necessarily mean your own family. It could be your extended family, like the ones you got around here by the looks of it. It's enjoying the things that you do, about putting value back in life, about being significant about those issues. There's actually some studies that are done that says there are 6 emotional needs that every person has, right? 6 emotional needs.
Emotional needs.
So whenever you see a problem with an issue with a person, you'll always find that one or more of those emotional needs are missing.
Yeah.
Right now.
Can you see me?
Can I see you?
Yeah.
In terms of whether you need any emotional needs, you mean?
Yeah.
Not at the moment. I can see.
Not public.
It looks pretty good. But I mean, love is one. Being love and connection,
Yeah.
certainty, so that you understand where you're going and what you want to do. Significance is in terms of being valued in the world that you're around you. Uncertainty. Everyone likes a little bit of uncertainty in life in terms of those areas. Young lady here's looking at me and saying, yeah, I like the bad boys. So uncertainty is another one. Contribution is also an important one, so that you need to contribute to more than just yourself, but part of the whole of the society that's around you, so you feel part of something. That's also another issue. I think I've missed one.
5 is one
5.
missing.
There's one missing. Keep talking and I'll find it.
You find one missing. One is happiness. One is uncertainty. One is effectiveness.
Yeah, and I mean, those emotional needs, when I do the work with companies, what I find is in a lot of cases is that's exactly what happens with people, in that they there's always one or two of those things missing. Oh yes, and growth. Growth is the other one. You as a person have to grow.
Yeah.
You can't stay still, because if you stay still, you feel as though you're going backwards. So it's really about you growing as a person, as an individual. And if you're a couple, a lot of the problems that you find with couples is that one grows and the other doesn't. So you need support from both parties, and both have got to grow together in regards to the issues, and that's what keeps you together as a connectedness for those particular areas.
You advise a lot of people
Yes.
in life or businesses, and I'm not sure if you one of those were Robert Bosch.
Robert Bosch, that's
yeah.
the company that I work for.
Yeah. So how was you feeling for?
Robert Bosch is a German company, well-known German company. Robert Bosch himself died in 1945, I think.
Yes, I know. It was the oldest person. Yeah,
that's right.
It's a company.
But a very, very good company in the sense that he was the first person to introduce the 8-hour day in Europe for those areas. What I find in a lot of businesses is that people forget the humanity. Businesses are only as good as the people that are there, and the businesses are only as good in terms of making profitability, etc., when the management realise that they're only as good as the people that are underneath them, and that they're able to connect, and the people want to be led in terms of the people that are there. And I think that's the key that most of them forget. The old day of telling people what to do doesn't work these days. people want to be engaged. They want to be asked. They want to be valued as employees. So they want to know that when they come there, that what they're doing and spending their life for is actually going to contribute to something more than themselves. Remember, we said the 6 emotional needs, contribution. Yeah. So most people you'll find want to contribute to feel that they're working for a company that's adding to the world, improving society, doing something for them. So the one thing that I usually find with businesses is their lack of understanding that they need to engage with their employees to add value to society.
Humans,
and that's so it comes back to the humanity in terms of the issues. Actually, the two things that I find with businesses in general is that they don't understand how to create relationships and communication.
No, they're making money. That's simple.
And that's all they do. And so they don't understand the communication, and they don't know how to handle conflict. They're the two things. When you find that the businesses are not working, it's usually those two things are having a problem.
We were in you disconnect and connect with people.
Yeah, we were talking about that. There's two things: associated and disassociated. Associated is when you connect with a person and you feel empathetic towards them, which means you feel what they feel. If you're doing a coaching with a person, if I feel what you feel, then I can't be any help to you, because I feel the same emotions as you do. And human beings are people that feel. We operate on how we feel, and what we feel is what we think, and then what we think from those feelings is how we behave. So if I feel like you do, then there's no point in me trying to do anything, because I'm not going to be able to help you.
How you connect with somebody who asks you for help? How you connect with a person?
What I have to do with connect with the person is I have to create rapport with them. That's a different issue.
Rapport, yeah.
So rapport is about a process of responsiveness. And so I have to develop the rapport with you so you feel comfortable and safe and trusted in terms of your personal life, so that you can say what you feel. But I have to make sure that I don't connect with those feelings, because then I can't remain objective to give you advice in terms of possible solutions. Most people know the solutions to their own problems. The issue is that they're so close to it, they can't see the alternatives. So what you have to do is you need to develop rapport with the person to connect, so that you can find what are the real issues rather than perceived issues, and then show them the alternatives that they already know are there, so that they can see and accept them. Because if they don't accept the alternatives, then of course they won't do anything.
Do you think hypnosis is an alternative to help the person?
Hypnosis is a therapy that works, and I'm actually certified as a hypnotherapist. It does work, but we usually use it as the last tool, right? So it's the last tool, because if you try to get someone to do something which is against their core values and beliefs, they won't do it. Right, so you got to make sure you get to that first. And disassociated is where you keep a distance between you and them emotionally, so that when you finish the session, you can go off and you can actually sleep and not take all their problems with you.
So the question is, or the answer is, you don't take those problems home.
I try not to take those problems home. And the last one was, she's looking at my wife here when she says that. She nods her head, is she? Yeah, she nods her head. And I think the other thing is very important is that you need to also make sure that you do meditate and make sure that you get rid of anything that potentially you could take with you. Why do you think I do martial arts?
Yeah.
I can if I have any issues, I go and I train. And I do the physical training. The physical training burns off anything or any issues. And in martial arts, you have to be in the now. Remember, we talked about stress. That if you're in the now, then you don't have the stress. So martial arts is all about now. Because if you don't, you get hit,
really?
And it hurts.
I would like you to give a message to my people, to the Spanish or Latin American people, the people who are listening to our program.
It really comes back to some of the basic, simple things in terms of the issues. One is, first, learn how to breathe properly. Because breathing makes you relax. It actually clicks in you have a sympathetic nervous system and a parasympathetic nervous system.
Is it breathing inside or
breathing? Deep breathing, not just the breathing in the top of the chest, but deep breathing.
Inside, yeah.
So if you do deep breathing, it lowers your blood pressure and allows you to remain more calm about what you want to do. And the other thing is, say things the way you want them rather than the way you don't want them, which means talk in a positive rather than a negative.
Be diplomatic.
No, I'm not saying being diplomatic. I'm saying things the way you want them. Instead of saying...
Sometimes it's painful when people say things that they want to say, the way they say it.
Yeah, I didn't say that you have to say it in a aggressive manner, you can just say it the way you want. So, for example, quite often people will use the word but and however. All right? So, this is nice, but, try going a whole day without using the word but in a conversation. I have people who can't even do it for 30 seconds, right?
Did I use it? But? No, I didn't.
It's so unconscious that you do it.
Yeah.
Right? So the word you should use instead of that is and. So instead of saying but, say and. So that by itself makes people stop and
As a
think.
positive, you say and is a positive.
And is a positive thing.
Thing.
Right?
That's good.
So that would be my couple of suggestions.
Listen, no but, and. All my questions, and.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's fantastic. We could be here all day, and I think it's very, very good. It's a pity you're going back to Australia. When are you
Going back
going
to Australia on Saturday.
back? On Saturday. Well, it's nice to go back. Nice weather. Are you winter now?
We're in winter down where we are, yeah.
Yeah, but it's not winter really.
Wow. If it was up north, which is warmer, it would be about 25. But for where we are, it's down. It's around 12, 13, maybe. Not yet. It's
Like
about 18, 19.
Like here.
So this is about winter for us, yeah.
This is winter for you. This is summer for us. Look, we all got t-shirts.
Yeah, we've noticed that. I've been walking around with my jacket on all day, and everyone's walking around in t-shirts. So.
Yeah, because it's summer for us.
Yeah.
Paul, thank you very much. Thank you for coming here to our studios.
Not a problem.
Anytime you come, you're welcome to come here. You just give us a call and visit our studios, and it's nice to talking to you. It's lovely.
Happy to provide any other feedback sessions if you want, even from Australia. So
Fantastic. Yeah, we will be in touch, and it's very nice.
Los número uno por la número uno.
Gloria Gómez por ACULCO Radio. Los número uno por la número uno.